This video is going to be about the purpose, the power, the magic, the beauty, the wonder, the miracle of music. Even the word itself, music, could be taken to mean muse I see, because it almost really does allow you to get a visual, imaginarily glimpse into another dimension. Sound is what we are all made of. Frequency, every single thing, and just the art of discovering how to control, manipulate, compose, orchestrate, rhythmize music and notes and sound is just the blessing that music is for all of us. And it really is a treasure of the human path and the human creation. It is one of our greatest art forms of all time. And we're going to go into it today in a really beautiful way. And I'm not sure exactly the artist of this drawing, but this really describes music in a perfect way and synthesizes art and music together, and just the tower, the potential, the graphs, the chord structure, the notes, the rhythms, the pauses, the everything. It really just is summed up in this, and a really great drawing. So before we get any further though, I want to show a little bit of my background. I have always loved music. I can remember the first time I heard rock and metal. I'll never forget it. I got a guitar in about 8th grade after studying and wanting a guitar for like 5 years, and then I finally got one. Formed a band with my neighbors within a couple days, and I've been in a band ever since, and this is my band now, Irrepress, and we pretty much will never go away, and we write some beautiful stuff. And through music I've been able to travel America, Europe, all over the place, meet amazing people, and experience some unbelievably magical things that really I feel only the power of music can do. And I love all forms of music, but I especially love metal. I really love the power potential of metal. I feel like it's like a new form of classical music that can really take any dimension, any speed, any bit of power, so much energy, or really just mellow someone out and make them feel beautiful. It takes you to all different worlds and universes, and I've experienced so many beautiful things with music that I could go on for eternity, and will a little bit later, but not forever. But we'll get back to that as I'll play some clips and you'll get to know some Irrepress and a lot more. Like many things such as light in our universe, sound also exists on a spectrum. So there's stuff that we can't hear and other animals can, and there's stuff that's just super high pitched. We can't even fathom some of the sounds, or actually we can't even fathom millions of the sounds. So each animal hears at like a different level and hears a different range, which has to make you wonder what these other ranges sound like, what they feel like. If every single frequency in our range kind of has an effect on us, it really does. And then what are all these other frequencies do? What's the potential? What kind of world are these animals living in that can embrace these things? And what does it sound like? What does our world sound like to them? And that one shows all the different instruments and their particular sound ranges, which is also very amazing to look at, because each instrument has its own family of sound and frequency. So no matter what the true shape and structure of our universe is, or whether Krishna played her flute in the heavens to first create sound, or whether the first being to ever exist, their first words were pretty much the first sound in music on earth, or whatever that was, whoever that was, or whatever it was, we owe them very much for that special gift of music that they gave us, that has been going through time, from the aboriginals and the primitives to the modern man, and our power to use it as a group is unprecedented. Every bit of live performance throughout history, from Handel's Messiah and Haydn's Creation to pretty much to Kanye West's most recent Jesus is King celebration of life. You know, I've never really been too big of a fan of him, but what he's doing is very positive, very great, and he's incorporating a lot of musicians, a lot of skill, and a lot of beauty and positivity, and that's what it's all about, because there is a war against music. And you know, I believe these cathedrals from back in the day were basically healing stations, organs. That's what they call the foundation of their musical source within these places. So I believe they were really healing devices and almost hospitals back then, and they knew how to do a lot with sound. They knew how to plan it perfectly, and they knew its true magical properties, which are being lost to us and being weaponized against us now. And I'm definitely going to go into that, so stay tuned for that part. So here's some of the books that I've gathered and looked at some of these Principia Mathematica, really just to gather a collection of different music-related artworks that shows how they looked at music back then. And there's a lot of ways we represent music now, and but these are really amazing scales. They almost look like mathematical tables, wheels, color wheels, but they're all relating to sound and frequency in different things. And I love how they incorporate architecture into it too, because it really is a foundation. Music, every part and aspect of music builds on itself and allows for an inevitable composition, a creation, an orchestra, an opera, an opus, a magnus, an incredible, just, anything can be created with sound, and any numbers of sounds, and tribes can exist and play for nights at a time, and hours, and seasons, to call on weather. The hand, I love how they really incorporate the hands, because our hands are so important. They are our creative weapons here on earth. We can do anything with these hands, from create a masterpiece art that changes the world, create a sound, create anything, heal, touch, the power to touch, and just what that really has, transmitting energies to one another, like our ability to grasp things, do everything, eat, work, every single thing. We need our hands, and I love palmistry and all the different interpretations of the hands and the different sections of the hands relating to different parts of the body or astrological zones. These are all connected: music, art, frequency, astronomy, palmistry. Every single thing points to, our human experience being a miraculous, absolute miracle in so many different ways. There's a lot of music theory in here, and really enough to show that it's really another language. And they have the same kind of A through G letter system that we do, but they also have a lot of different things and different kinds of letters, and for the minors and majors, and they may have even known more. There's a lot of different scales that they're showing here, and a lot of different frequency ranges. And when you think about it, a piano is set and tuned to a certain frequency, but if you were to tune everything down a little bit, then you'd have a whole nother instrument, almost a whole nother set of notes that are really being utilized. So every single space within each frequency is another potential for sound. Sound is just an infinite plethora of sonic potential that really can be accessed, and each frequency, each chord progression, every combination forms different waves that enter the universe and really compel our minds and our spirits to do particular things and certain things, and just take us off, send us into other dimensions, other realities, make us happy if we're sad, make us angry if we need to be, make us pumped up, make us excited, make us cry. A certain song can stick with you for a long time and always remind you of a place. These things, the sound, these frequencies, we can memorize things really quickly, and by saying the words and humming the feelings, you can basically accomplish different things that are almost indescribable in so many different ways. It is a powerful thing, and when you factor in the live performance and the harmony of others, just singing alone, what that does to your body, it resonates your entire body. Your body is the instrument, and it's vibrating with a certain pitch. That's why mantras, Tibetan syllables, all those things are so important, because they figured out particular sounds and syllables that affected the body in ways that were absolutely perfect, and were in tune with exactly what they wanted to be. And there's no telling what could happen. Like, these letters are unbelievable. This is almost like a different language entirely. And when you think about how our language has changed over time, how has music changed over time? When someone creates something that's 6 strings, what's to stop them from inevitably going to the harp and the piano, which have a lot more strings, and then going to something even more? Some guy back then with enough money or whatever could have been able to create his own instrument that has never been seen before. It has not survived because it was probably made out of wood and could have just easily burned. But they could have had a whole nother form of music. Every single culture has a different form of music, has a different way of thinking about it, especially like the Indians and their rhythms and their tabla and different sitar, and all different instruments from all over the world create different sounds. And there's so many we haven't even discovered yet. And composition is just another amazing thing. You can combine any different pattern of rhythms and sounds and frequencies and cadences and repeat, and make a structure that's totally progressive and unique, or repeat and create choruses and different things. And there is so much potential to music that it's nuts that nowadays when you turn on the radio, you hear the same songs you did 30 years ago, and they're still playing every day, repeatedly. It is a powerful thing to continuously keep people in the same space with music, instead of letting them discover the new things that are out there, the new creative people. And these instruments were amazing, and a lot of people around the world now are doing some amazing things with unique instruments. Theremin, that looked like, and just different bells, different chimes, different horns, winds, you know, whether they started as wood back in the day or even plants like a bamboo, someone put a hole in it, or, you know, maybe a lot of the primitives saw these random, maybe there were ancient cathedrals that they ended up stumbling upon. They come across an organ and they're like, they can see a bamboo or other kind of wooden thing, and they carve it out to look like that. You know, maybe that's, they stumbled upon that, or so, you never know. But archaeological digs all over the world always pull up instruments of different kinds, whether it's an ocarina or anything. You know, people needed music. It was always an important thing, whether you're in a tribe or a gigantic community. And it is very important to really keep it progressive and experience the jam and getting in the zone and getting people to really sync with each other. When you jam with a group of people and you get into the zone, everybody is on the same page and you almost communicate with each other through the sound and in your head. You can really take yourself to another plane of existence. It's really like a trance. It's an unbelievable thing. I recommend drum circles for anyone. They're so much fun. And if you've ever just heard the right song at the right time or been right in the perfect zone with music that it's affected you so much that it gives you the brain tingles, I call them, that is the most amazing feeling. It's almost like you're being touched by the muses, by the angels. It's the best feeling of all time, and I feel like it's one of the healthiest for our mind too, the tingles. Everybody's had them at some point. And if you haven't had those brain tingles, then I blame the music industry, the radio, and the media, because they are just deliberately giving us the wrong type of music for our minds. So one of the most interesting and epic musical experiences was by George Frederick Handel, who premiered his Messiah on April 13th, 1742. And this is very important because this music is still played today in so many different churches around the world. It's ridiculous. So it's a very successful piece that at one point was very kind of taken down by the media again. So I'm willing to believe that everybody that was there for that sacred experience thought it was an incredible concert. However, over the next year, it was taken down by the media, who assaulted it. The atheist media just continued to denounce and discredit this beautiful sacred performance in this guy who was trying to really bring the sacred back into music. So I'm assuming it was happening a long time ago, and then there had been a steady push to gradually eradicate it. So the need for this, Handel and his friend Jennings to create this wonderful piece that would bring everyone together in the spirit of God and the belief in a divine power, was so essential. They had it, and they loved it in the premiere, and you know, people still really continue to love it. The media can never stop people from feeling what they truly feel, and that's the thing that's very important, is because they want us to not experience these beautiful things, but these are so important to us all as a community of human beings. We need to experience music together and be a part of that wonder together, because what it does to our bodies, our souls, our spirits is priceless and eternal. And so the press do whatever they can to stifle the public from really truly enjoying this wonder. And so they trash the secular singer actresses all over the media, to the point where the whole performance had to be changed from Messiah to New Sacred Oratorio, because just the atheists just would not have the term Messiah being out there. It was just a trigger for these people back in the 1740s. And that stuff is still going on today. So another master musician who saw this pull of atheism and wanted to destroy it was Joseph Haydn, who was a creator of Creation, which was a masterful work on Genesis, Psalms, John Milton's Paradise, and a lot more. So touching on concepts that are just so sacred into our subconscious and reality and spirituality, that they're bringing music to it, and they're letting people really just transform their experience of hearing this into something truly sacred. And this is the Berg Theater in Vienna, where I believe the first premiere happened in March 19th, 1799. And I believe it's this one from the inside. This is an engraving, or it could be the other one from about a minute ago. But one of these shows the inside, and these places were, you know, that building just from the outside looks like it's ancient. And so the inside, you know, there's no telling how long this could have been around and how many different musical performances before this were happening throughout time that have been forgotten, and who some of the real ancient master musicians were and what their songs were. That's something we may never know, because, you know, it's easy to burn sheet music and then it's lost. and music has been going for a long time. And if they've been coming out with these masterpieces in the 1700s, then it's been building and growing for a very long time. It started somewhere beautiful. And nowadays it's really easy to gather a lot of people in some of these stadiums that we have. This is 10,000 Japanese. You know, when one of the first performances of Handel's Messiah that was really epic had over 1,000 players and singers, and at that time that was unbelievable, especially to hear it in a cathedral. This is the Mormon Tabernacle, how the sound is just perfect in there. I remember going there on vacation when I was young, and someone dropped a pin at the very top of that and you could hear it in the way back. So that is some ancient technology there and sound mastery. And so nowadays Kanye is bringing it back, and you have to give him credit for it. And I've listened to the album and the performance, that Sunday worship service, and it is awesome. It just felt great to see all these people uniting under the power of God like they used to do in different ways, and he's bringing it back to this modern era that needs it more so than ever. People are really they're connecting music with lyrics and spirituality, and they're doing something wonderful that needs to be seen more. And again, the atheist media is decimating this. I haven't seen one good review that's given him over a 2 or something. It's pathetic how badly they will lie to stop us from enjoying and embracing these true miracles and wonders of our world. And music is an absolutely perfect one. So Kanye, amazing job. I absolutely love it. I can't wait to hear everything you do from here on out. Beautiful, beautiful job. That is an example of someone using their power, using their influence, using their voice to spread positivity, beauty, and a love for the divine and the miracles of the world. And that's what it's all about. Music should be bringing people better and making them feel happier. It should not be repetitive nonsense that's literally designed by scientists in order to get in people's heads and stick there. Music has been taken over, and Kanye was bringing it back. And if you just search anywhere on the internet satanic performances of modern music, and look what you see. This stuff is an absolute disgrace. And some of these people were our past president of the last 8 years, who was best friends with half of these people, and they were huge cultural influences on our culture. Like, what is this? These people are sick. This stuff is like not connected. I remember when I was teaching elementary schools, kids were drawing Illuminati pyramids all over the place and talking about the Illuminati in 2nd grade. And it's a result of this. These people know that by putting this stuff out there, they're going to get kids that are sad or something to follow these paths of negativity and self-destruction. And you know, these musicians are like, they're not the best musicians out there, not by far. If the system were fair and people were spread on a more even basis, you'd never know who any of these people were, because some lounge singer down the street has more talent than any of these people combined. But they'll remain hidden because they won't do as the people say. They won't be puppets. And you know, that's not what music's about. Music's about stuff like this: community, joining together for a spiritual experience, dressing up, dancing, playing, everybody performing. We all possess the ability to create, embrace, and enjoy music. We all do. We all are sound receivers. Our ears, our minds, our third eye, our everything, our whole body can feel sound. We exist in waves, and we have to fight those external electromagnetic waves, so we need to really embrace music and have our bodies resonate. That's why when you meet people that maybe not resonate with you, you don't get along. And when you meet people that do, you know immediately. You can even tell from someone that walks by if their pattern of rhythm and harmony blends with yours. And it's so important to be denying this stuff to us all and polluting us with these things and these misconceptions of what music and sound really are. Does an incredible detriment to the human society as a whole, and we're seeing it now, big time. It's even an injustice to the human species, and this is a book from the 1500s that talks about drums and flutes and other instruments do stir up the spirits, and to my judgment there is no other means to stir up the spirits of men but only by the noise of their instruments. And not only men, that also beasts, nevertheless, not only make a comparison to which have been observed at times. Even the beasts are affected by the sound and music. It is so powerful, it is such an important weapon, and we must take it back. And this was my method of taking it back. And me and my friends also, I'm sure, think a pretty nice way, because we always tried to combat the norms of music and create something totally different. And we're all fans of the Goonies, so our never say die attitude has really been with us forever. And we blend art and music, and our sound, and the compositions that we create are really like amalgams of a bunch of different styles that form these perpetually progressive experiences of music, and we had a great run. We toured a lot of different places, we played a lot of different things, but some of our best experiences were writing. The act of 5 people creating in perfect harmony was an unbelievable experience, and depending on the time that was happening in the world, there were really like our intensity would increase and really flow with the way things were happening in the world. Like I remember after 9/11 we created a song called Pano, and while we were writing it and the first time we played it, I felt like the entire world was going to cave in. I literally felt the world was going to end during that moment. It was so intense, and when we jammed we would fill the room with sound, loudness, peaks, valleys, like slow stuff to fast things, incredibly heavy. You know, every single realm of music is at our disposal, all of us, and we have to embrace that, because to think like that only what they're feeding us nowadays through the media and TV and YouTube and stuff like that is to think that that's all there is to music and that's what music should make you feel like is wrong. And you know, this my friend down there in the blue, he was one of my best friends of all time growing up, my friend Jordan Giggy, and he passed away a couple of years ago. He was one of our biggest fans, and look at how much he's feeling the music there. He is absolutely in the zone. He was always in the front at our shows and always giving just as much energy and compassion as we were, and it was really amazing. He will be missed. And people really need to feel music. You know, some people have a natural gift, some people have perfect pitch, but all of us have the ability to create music, and it's a wonderful thing for younger people to do and to get away from their phones and their all this other stuff and embrace music. Jam outside, discover all the potential, make relationships with friends and build them off of music and off of entering the creative process, because nothing is more important than creativity in this world. Our entire universe is a creative act. And music and art in schools are not receiving any funding, and children aren't really learning because the culture isn't really showing them what the potential of music really could be and the power of music really is. Each person has a typical like, you know, I like metal, I like a lot of different things. A lot of music affects me in a powerful way. Songs like Happy and like Uptown Funk drive me nuts. They make me want to like rip my ears out, and I can't even listen to them for a second. But the fact that some people are in tune with that and really love those songs, you know, just shows that people express themselves in different ways. Everybody has a unique taste and style of music that vibes with them perfectly, and when the media and all the TVs are pushing a certain type of music on people, you should always be wary of that and dig into the underground, where the people that are really struggling and the people that are really passionate about their craft are creating. It's an incredible resource. There are so many musicians that need support, and I encourage you all to join and jam and create, mesh with friends, play shows. By the end of a tour, the connection that you form with your bandmates is unparalleled. You can all like basically don't even have to speak to each other. You telekinetically you sync up with each other in amazing ways. I've even like healed food poisoning from playing shows. One time I got really sick in Kansas City, and the only time I didn't feel like terrible for the entire 2 days was the times that I was on stage, when I felt perfect each time. And you know, music has that ability. You can study with it. You play it for babies when they're in the womb, and it does magical things to them. It helps them think. It helps their brains grow. And that's when each of our first sounds start, when we're in the womb and we develop our sense of hearing. And that's probably when the tingles start too. So I'm going to play a little live song from one of our shows in Texas, and I'm going to stream through some songs that give me the tingles. I recommend you all share the songs in the comments that give you the tingles, and let's just build a resource of incredible songs and music.